We can talk more now about the ANC's 55th National Conference with political analyst Thembisa Fakude. A very good evening to you, sir. Welcome back to News at Prime. So, Derek Hanekom speaks there about people who he says were out to get the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, during this conference, and I doubt that's going to go away now that a new leadership has been elected, will it?
No, it's not going to go away, but of course, Derek Hanekom goes against the rhetoric we've been hearing today from all the ANC members saying that that was a democracy at play, and the pull and push that we experienced over the past couple of days was part of that democracy. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But we saw some sort of friendliness and camaraderie after the conference. All those that were competing with each other, hugging and kissing. So one hopes that that's going to be the trajectory moving forward.
How does that ANC, the ANC, I should say, maintain that level of unity or reconciliation, if that's even what it really is, because it never seems to last?
Well, I'm not quite sure whether even this concept of unity is good for democracy, by the way. And I think unity often leads to dictatorships. Once you have a group of individuals who agree with each other, end up having a very emboldened leader who will do as he or she pleases. And what I think was displayed, notwithstanding all the shenanigans and bad mannerism that we've experienced over the past couple of days, was that clumsiness within a democratic system. For me, what was more impressive, of course, was when the NEC and the top six was dissolved and they all had to go and sit with the normal common members of the organization. That was democracy. And during the time, there was that empty place of power which was competent. And the only people who occupied the power at the time, as former President Kgalema Motlanthe said, was the Electoral Commission. So we did, notwithstanding all the shenanigans, as I've said, we did experience some sort of democracy at play over the past couple of days.
But is it a healthy approach to democracy? I know you said that unity can itself breed a dictatorship, for instance, but how does the ANC begin to go on a process of healthy contestation that does not become necessarily personal and vicious, as we've seen?
Well, the answer to that question will be another question. Was it unhealthy to have that contestation? Was it unhealthy to have people heckling the president? Was it unhealthy, people coming out saying that they prefer a certain candidate? And of course, when the president won, you had all those guys who were shouting the loudest, hastening to the stand or to the podium, congratulating those that were contesting. So for me, as a student of politics, what we experienced over the past couple of days was a true democracy, particularly coming from an African organization. I
think I asked you this question 2 days ago about whether we perhaps exaggerate what happens in the ANC precisely because it happens so publicly. The party will tell you it happens so publicly because they are so internally democratic and there are no consequences or very limited consequences for people who disagree.
Yeah, well, I think South African populist society is very insular to what happens around the world. If you look at big democracies, for example, like India and other places, including the United States, democracy is clumsy. And that's one of the characteristics of a democracy, the clumsiness of it. Pardon my alarm was...
Are you getting a call up to cabinet now that there'll be a vacancy available soon?
No, it was your interview. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Continue, sir.
Yeah, so this is so let me just switch it off. Sorry about that. This is one of part of that characteristic of a democracy, where you have this clumsy contestation that continues. And I think over the past couple of days we saw that. And for me, it was to an extent impressive that we have these contenders. Zweli Mkhize was the first one who went on the stage to congratulate Cyril Ramaphosa, and Cyril Ramaphosa reciprocated. And we had others as well doing the same. So there was no fighting, there was no shooting each other. It was just a healthy contestation, which I think ended up, of course, in not a very impressive manner. It's becoming culture for the ANC and a tradition that the ANC never finishes its conferences. And this time around we have the same thing. But we'll have to wait and see what will happen on the 5th of January, which is the date that's been identified as the last day for this conference.
And the ANC has been criticized quite vocally for being, quote-unquote, too inward-looking, too obsessed with its own internal troubles, and some have said that, in fact, is impeding its ability to deliver on its mandate, its promises to the electorate, which is now shrinking. The party has made it clear it wants to not only win the 2024 election, but to do so decisively. Can it do that until it's fixed itself internally?
Well, I don't think that's a priority. The priority is delivering from now until 2024. People are desperate. People are looking at the ANC to deliver basic services. One, people are looking at the ANC to fight corruption decisively and to hold those that are accused of corruption, take them into account. And at the moment, at least right now, we haven't seen that happening from Cyril Ramaphosa. So people are looking at an enthusiastic, fast-moving president henceforth. Mm-hmm. And I don't think fixing the ANC right now will really help because a lot of people have already made up their minds about the ANC given the number of years that they've been in power and they've failed the people. And I think if Cyril Ramaphosa was not re-elected, ANC would have been in a much more dire situation. And one hopes, of course, that with Cyril Ramaphosa you will see a different ANC, at least in the next coming few months. And because of Cyril Ramaphosa being trusted, not only within the ANC but broader South African society, you are likely, therefore, to see ANC surviving. I'm not saying ANC will get an outright majority in the next coming elections, but at least they will survive because they have a much more amicable person at the helm.
And that much more amicable person, to use your phrase, takes with him into the new year the Phala Phala farm situation, the scandal, the saga. He's going to take the report from the Section 89 panel on review, but it's the first of multiple reports that we're expecting. Some of them will even look at whether there is indeed grounds for criminal action to be pursued. How does a president lead his party and the country with that going on indefinitely? Because we don't know how long it will last or what the outcomes of the multiple investigations will be.
Well, first of all, it's going to be a fascinating year for us next year, all the political analysts and journalists, because it's going to be a very busy year. We're going to have campaigning starting, but at the same time, there's going to be this president being taken, as you said, through all of these processes. It's going to be very hard for him. It's going to be really, really hard work. And this is why many people are saying that he has to move very swiftly in appointing a new cabinet, a cabinet that's going to be fit for purpose, a cabinet that's going to assist him carry out the business of government. And I think if he does that, he will have a bit of a breathing space for him to attend to all other personal matters. But if he doesn't do that, we are likely to see the repeat of the past 4 years.
And there's been a lot of speculation around what he will do with cabinet now that he's won a conference. Fikile Mbalula, the new Secretary General, has to leave cabinet where he was Transport Minister to take up a full-time role at the ANC's headquarters as SG, right? But there's also been a question lingering about what Ramaphosa will do about people such as Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who voted for the adoption of the Phala Phala report in Parliament. And I wonder if sacking her would work against him politically in the broader picture if he'd be seen as someone who actually, as a leader, is not open to dissent.
Well, I think there's going to be a number of vacancies. You forgot to mention Lindiwe Sisulu, who has been, by the way, been calling for the resignation of the president way before Nkosazana Zuma did. So there will be a number of openings in the cabinet, and one hopes that, of course, they will be occupied by people fit for purpose. I don't think President Cyril Ramaphosa has got anything to lose now. This is his last term as a president. He's now all about legacy, and he has to make sure that he leaves an ANC and a government that functions and delivers to its people. So I think we're going to see a different Cyril Ramaphosa, particularly that he has been annoyed and irritated by certain actions of certain people within his cabinet and the ANC. So he's likely to move very, very fast and quick in terms of dealing with those that oppose him. And I think we are likely to see at minimum 4 additional new cabinet ministers coming into his cabinet, and those people are likely to be people that are respected by the broader South African society, and hopefully they'll help the government meet its mandate of delivering basic services to the people of South Africa.
Thembisa Fakude, we'll leave you to get back and return that call. For now, thank you very much for speaking to us tonight.